Hello there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. This is a show where we feature 1 or 2 recipes a day straight out of my monthly Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. And these recipes are always easy, healthy, and delicious. That's what I can promise to you. And today we are on our snack day. It's Thursday, and so on Thursdays, we always make some delicious snack. And today we are going to be making a British delight for all of our members of our group from the United Kingdom and all over the world who are familiar with this dish. I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy sausage roll that is totally meatless. This is plant-based, and I am telling you, I've perfected this. The inside of this sausage roll is going to totally fake out anyone who believes that this is not made with meat. This sausage contains walnuts. It also contains barbecue sauce, some breadcrumbs or almond meal in my case, because I'm going to make it gluten-free. It contains onions and lentils and other things. It's so delicious. And like I said, it's quick and easy. So let's get started. I'll show you just how simple it is. So the first thing that we want to do is we actually need to make our sausage, and we're going to do this in a food processor. Now, a lot of the recipes that I make here on the show, I have to do some mise en place, or put everything in its place, as they say in the kitchen, beforehand. And I had to do that today because it's a little boring to watch me make a filling in a food processor. But let me walk you through the ingredients that you need, and then I'll walk you through how you can do it in a food processor. Really simple. The first thing that you need to do while you're making the filling is get your puff pastry out and thawing, okay? Now, I'm using vegan puff pastry today. We'll talk more about this in just a few minutes, but for right now, I have one of the actual pieces of puff pastry. It usually comes with 2. I have this out and it's been thawing for the last 10 minutes or so. You really want to thaw this for at least 20, 25 minutes and it will be perfectly ready to roll. Do not try to roll this into a sausage roll when it's frozen. All right, so put this aside. So now let's make the filling. To make the filling, the first and most important ingredient that's like our meat-like substitute is going to be these bad boys. These are steamed lentils. Now, I love using steamed lentils. I buy these from Trader Joe's, but you can get them at any grocery store that's well-stocked, usually in the produce section. And this is a 1 pound container, so it's about just over 16 ounces. It's 1 pound, 1.6 ounces. And here's how it looks. It comes in a pouch. We'll use half of it, but it comes in a pouch just like this, right? And these are steamed up. They're really wonderful. They're tender, and you can skip the cooking. There's nothing added to them also. So they're really plain. So that means you can add dressings or anything. You can use them for salads. You can use them for soups. You can use them for dips and things like that. Today, we're using them for our sausage roll filling. 1 cup of this goes right into the food processor. All right, the next thing that you're going to need is an onion. Now, the onion is really important for the sausage roll. You know, meat tends to have a very savory quality when we season it up. And so to mimic that, we're going to use a half of a yellow onion. So I've used half already. And I actually love to store my onion or my produce that is sliced up already inside of a stasher bag. These are really cool. These are silicone-based bags, you guys. They're storage bags and they're cooking bags. So you actually can sous vide in them. You can actually steam. You can put them in the microwave, and you can store food like fresh food, produce, and dry food like oats and nuts and dried beans and pasta in these bags in your pantry. So I have a ton of these. They're really helpful. And guess what? I have news. I was just accepted into the Amazon program. So I now have a new influencer account on Amazon. I'm going to pop the stasher bags onto my account. If you want to check them out, you can check them out there. And we'll pop the link down below. All right, the next thing that we need is garlic. This is carrying into more of the savory quality. We want 1 clove of garlic. Definitely use whole garlic, fresh garlic for this, as opposed to the frozen garlic, which I sometimes use, or sometimes people also use the jar. Don't use that. You want it to be fresh. You want it to be almost like sweet-like, and you're going to get that from the fresh version. So 1 clove, that's it. Now, the next thing we need is something to kind of absorb the juices. If you were going to make this the classic sausage roll, generally speaking, you're going to use about a cup of ground meat, and you can, usually it's like a combination of meat. Traditionally, I think it's ground beef or ground pork, but we're mimicking this meat and we're making it instead. But one of the things that stays consistent is the breadcrumbs. You need something to sort of absorb some of the moisture in this filling so that it doesn't sort of like get wet and spill out of the pastry when it bakes. So what we're going to use today, there's two different options I'm going to show you. The first is organic breadcrumbs. Now this is if you don't have a gluten sensitivity. If you have celiac disease or you are sensitive to gluten, I would totally avoid buying or using breadcrumbs totally in your house. Just let them go. And a great replacement, which I use all the time. I don't actually ever buy these. I just bought these for you today so I could show you. Replacement that's gluten-free is just almond meal. Now, I love the almond meals. You can do this with any nut, truly, but I love this one because it's truly just almond meal. It's almonds that's pulsed up into a meal or a flour. And you can see that it's actually almond-like. You can see the skins as well as the tan or the middle, the fruit or the meat of the nut. So it's kind of speckled with the skin as well as the meat. It's really great. It acts just like flour. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's not a 1-to-1 ratio with, but it is a 1-to-1 ratio with breadcrumbs, not with flour. So you want 1 cup of breadcrumbs or 1 cup of the almond meal. One thing I want to mention about these two options is that these seem like pretty comparable options. One doesn't seem more healthy than the other, right? But here's the thing. Depending on if you have a gluten intolerance or not, that's one thing. But the other thing that I want to just point out about the breadcrumbs is that sometimes we think we're getting something that's organic, right? Okay, it's organic. It's healthier. Well, let me flip this over and show you the ingredient list. There is something hidden in this ingredient list. Can you see that?
Just read it.
Okay, I'm going to read it. It's organic, evaporated cane sugar. That's hidden sugar. We do not want hidden sugar in our breadcrumbs, okay? Now you'll find if you have breadcrumbs in your house, look at the label right now or after the show, you're gonna probably see some high fructose corn syrup or some cane syrup or cane sugar that's listed in the ingredient list. Well, that is a hidden sugar and that is an extra additional calories that we don't need. Also, that's not a whole food. That's highly processed sugar, and we can remove that from our diet altogether by making our own breadcrumbs or using the gluten-free kind, which are the nut meals and nut flours. All right. If you have any questions along the way too, you can let me know. You could just type it in the comment box. Now, the next ingredient we need is our sauce. I'm going to use barbecue sauce for this. It can be any barbecue sauce that you want. This one's organic, which I really, really like, and it doesn't contain that much molasses or maple syrup. So this one's really good. This is from Trader Joe's. And the next thing that I want is a little tomato paste. All right. So I'm going to use just about 1/4 cup of this, as well as 1/4 cup of the barbecue sauce. This is going to add a really nice tomato-rich flavor. And then 1 carrot. You want to actually roughly chop this before you throw it in, and you want to roughly chop your onion as well. Throw all of this in with a little salt and a little pepper. And then once it's in the food processor, you're going to pulse it, and it's going to take you many pulses because everything's going to sort of try to like become a paste. Pulse it up. It's going to take probably 5 to 10 minutes to pulse it. You have to stop it every once in a while and scoop around the blade. And when it's done, you should have some sort of a mixture. I forgot one ingredient. 1 cup of walnuts. You can't forget this. 1 cup of walnuts with your 1 cup of lentils. When all of this is pulsed together, you should have a mixture that looks like this, kind of reminiscent of pate. Yeah, that's what we want. It's really, really good. It smells delicious, like barbecue sauce. It's very meaty-like. All right. So I have my mixture now, and let's roll our sausage roll. I think my puff pastry is probably perfectly ready. Let's give it a whirl. So let's talk about the puff pastry here for a second. This is regular puff pastry, except for the only difference between this and regulars is this is vegan. This is made with wheat flour as normal, but instead of it being made with butter, this is actually made with palm oil. You can also find some that are made with coconut oil or even some that are made with plant-based butter. This stuff is so great. It's from Aussie Bakery. I highly recommend it. And it comes with 2 of these rolls, these puff pastry rolls, and you only need 1 for this recipe. Actually, I should say you'll probably have enough for 2 if you stuff them not so full. It makes a lot of filling, so just kind of keep that in mind. All right, so you can see here the puff pastry is done. Danny, can we do an overhead cam? I can't touch my computer now. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. Yeah, never thought you would try barbecue in a sausage recipe. And you're saying that I haven't gone 100% plant-based due to not finding the right flavor for sausage yet. I'm trying. Well, yes, I'm so glad that you're here then. You should try this because it really does kind of taste like sausage. All right, so I'm opening up the puff pastry now. This is really important. Let me grab a little towel. All right, so you can see they actually will store the puff pastry kind of like a letter. So they actually fold it in thirds like a letter. Now at this point, you can actually roll this out a little bit more. And if you do, throw on a little flour, like pretend I have flour here. I don't need to though, because I'm good, but you can, and you can roll it out thinner if you want like a thinner crust around. But I really like that thick and delicious crust. So I am gonna keep it like this. All right, I'm gonna grab a paring knife. And I'm going to divide this into 2 pieces. So I'm literally just going to slice it. And then I'm going to take, didn't go all the way through. There we go. I'm going to take these 2 pieces and I'm going to place them right here. Okay. Now at this point, I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of make sure that everything is thawed, right? I can feel with my fingers that the edges are nice and thawed, but like there's a couple places right here where I'm going to use the warmth of my hands to really kind of make sure it's warm enough so that we can roll it. Make sure it doesn't stick to your board. So just use the warmth of your palm and your fingers to sort of make it a little bit more soft and thawed. And you'll feel it right away. Like I can feel right here, this feels like ice as opposed to this, which feels like dough. So I'm going to just spend some seconds warming it. Just warm it. Give it a little Reiki. Just kidding, kinda. All right. Now I'm going to grab a spoon and I'm going to take my filling. You can see how much filling this yields. This is about 3 full cups of the filling. Place it down on the bottom third of the sausage pastry, of the sausage roll pastry or the puff pastry. Make sure that you don't remove this from the food processor until all of the bits are, like mixed. You don't want like large pieces of carrot. It's okay if you have some pieces of onion. It's okay if you have little specks of garlic. That's great. But you don't want like really large pieces of carrot because it's only going to bake in the oven for about 30 minutes. So you really just want it to be evenly, consistently pureed in the food processor, or pulsed rather in the food processor. See, I'm just filling it pretty full here. And look, you have half of the filling, so you could use another piece of puff pastry. But if you rolled this out, maybe you would use all of it. I'll put this aside. Now, you need to actually preheat your oven to 400 degrees and let that come to temp before you begin rolling. So I'm going to roll now. Literally just rolling, kind of like sushi or a sausage roll. I'd never had sausage roll before I started to develop this, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a great recipe. It's perfect for snacking. It's also great for parties. Grab my chef's knife. Now take a clean chef's knife. At this point, you have 2 sausage rolls, right? And you want to try to get at least 5 pieces, 4 to 5 pieces out of each roll. So let's see if I can. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Now, if any of the filling kind of falls out, go ahead and take a paring knife and just make sure that it doesn't. Now, the fun part, I'm going to roll these in my favorite sort of garnish, all right? I'm going to use everything bagel seasoning, which is a mixture of black sesame seed, white sesame seed, and sea salt and garlic and onion. But you can actually use poppy seeds, smoked sea salt, anything. And obviously, it kind of like rolls all over the board. So I'm going to tap the bottom to get the other side seasoned. Kind of cool trick, right? Hopefully we'll have everything off this board by the time it goes in the oven. Stagger these on your baking sheet because they are going to puff. And then just get them right in the oven. 20 minutes, they bake off. You may need a couple extra minutes if you want them just a little bit darker. Golden brown and delicious is what you're trying to achieve. So make sure that whatever time you use, it's GBD, golden brown and delicious. Perfect. Now these are ready for the oven. This can go right in now. And then I made some earlier, so you didn't have to wait. Let me show you. This is a bit hot. Hot out of the oven. Ta-da! Homemade sausage rolls. Will you look at these? These look so good. Golden brown and delicious. We've got a little bit of the everything bagel. You can see the sausage kind of like puffing out. These look so good. Actually, let's garnish our plate first. First thing I want, a little Dijon mustard. I hear that's how the Brits love to enjoy the good sausage roll. Some people do ketchup. I'm going for mustard. Nice big spoon and then a swoop just to make it beautiful. And then if you want it to be really fancy, I have this beautiful oak smoke salt. I'm just going to take some of this and I'm just going to salt up just ever so slightly the Dijon. It's just going to make it smoky and really nice. It's going to match that barbecue. Place these down and you have yourself a delicious, well, party on the plate. This looks fantastic. Homemade sausage rolls, quick and easy, totally meat-free. No animals were harmed. This looks unbelievable. I must give it a taste. I'm going for this one right here. It's calling me. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. This is good. Really good. So good with the Dijon mustard and the oak smoked salt. Mm. The sausage, it actually kind of tastes like sausage. It's very meat-like. It's very savory. This recipe is so good. I hope that you'll try it. And if you do try it and you take a photo, or if you change the recipe just slightly, let's say you use poppy seeds instead of everything bagel, take a photo, will you? And then pop it in our Facebook group at Plant Based Made Easy. We are 1.1, so 1,100 people and growing every day, a global community. Thank you so much for being a part of it if you're already a member. And if you aren't, it's totally free to join. Please continue to watch our shows and support our content and join our group because we continue the conversation there every single day. This is fantastic. I'm going to finish the plate of this. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Come back for tomorrow because tomorrow's our dessert day. You can't miss it. We're going to be making a peanut butter cup pudding. Not to be missed. I'll see you then. Peace out for now.